What's going on, everybody? This is Nick Lawson from Squad Sports. We're really excited to be supporting the Free Agent Friday series. A lot of great talent out there. Without further ado, this is the next free agent you should be signing with your sports team.
We are back for another Free Agent Friday today, and we have Austin Hall. How you doing, Austin?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a great day. Great day. So let's walk through your college experience.
Okay. Actually started outside of Austin, small private liberal arts school. Played soccer for 2 years. Just kind of did the D3 thing. Played my whole life growing up, and kind of had a different feel for it when I went to college, and really decided I want to take the next step. And after 2 years, then decided it wasn't right for me. Decided I need to focus on school a little bit more and kind of figure out what I wanted to do. So I ended up transferring to North Texas, where I got my bachelor's in integrative studies, which is actually just 3 minors. It was a combination of sports management, marketing, and sociology. So kind of worked my way through that, and then ended up just kind of going straight through into my master's program, which was all sports management.
Nice. When you were going through this, is that when you kind of decided you wanted to work in sports, or at what point did you decide you want to work within the sports business?
It was probably at that point. I actually just kind of stumbled upon a ticket office job, which really seems where everybody starts, slinging tickets at the front desk.
Yeah.
I had a buddy who was working there at the time, and he said it's great. It's part-time hours. You get to work game days, and that's really where I loved it. Probably the first game day is where I started to kind of let me take a step back. It wasn't the first game day. It was probably the first month up to that. Things really get hectic, and you start running around and things are out of control. Nobody knows where anybody is or what tickets. Nobody knows where tickets are. And so that's really where I loved it. And then came the first game day, and I was sold.
So you like the chaos. You like the chaos.
The chaos is awesome. Which in sports is all there is, it seems.
When I got out of sports, I really was having a hard time because I didn't have that chaos. I was so used to it, and so used to being a problem solver and a firefighter, and so I can definitely relate to that. So
right. I don't know what to do if things are normal and organized and controlled.
So when you got done school, what was your first position then?
Well, I worked in the ticket office through undergrad.
Okay.
I also took a little bit of time off from the ticket office for about a year. I worked for a small company called Global Golf Management. They run a handful of tournaments for the tour, for the LPGA and for the web.com. So I was an operations coordinator on that end, which was totally different from what I've done. I had the opportunity through one of my professors in a local tournament here in Dallas, which was the LPGA Volunteers of America Texas Shootout. So started with them, and then ended up traveling around while school allowed it and work with the ticket office allowed it. I traveled around for about a year and got to see some big tournaments, got to see how they operate, got to see how they run, everything from the sponsorship side to the tickets to actually just setting up a golf course, which was probably the coolest part to me. Was you're really just setting up a stadium, and it comes down a lot faster, but you're setting up a stadium and then literally just ripping it down and moving on to the next one. So right. That part was wild. And then after that, I kind of took a step back. I was like, I want to, kind of go back to school for a little bit. But the travel was a lot with that job. So You're on the road for 3.5, 4 weeks, depends, and, which was fun. I loved every bit of it. But, at some point I was like, well,
right. Long term, maybe not.
World, so. Yeah. And so that's where I found Learfield IMG. It was Learfield prior. So I was there for the merger too. But there's a job open across the concourse with the Mean Green Sports Properties team. And so I took that and decided to really get my feet wet and start college sports.
So when you were back in the ticket office, what kind of ticket software did you use? Any other technology that you were using on that side?
So at the time we were using Arctics.
Okay.
And now I'm completely out of it now because they switched to Pacquiao about the minute I left. I wasn't any controlling factor of that. We had a new guy come in. but Artix was the main one, Ticketmaster, a lot of that. I had a little bit of back-end experience with it, but mostly just the game day settings, and then, in the office on throughout the weeks, kind of running that.
So for your next position, what kind of role are you looking for?
I've thought about a couple of different options. It's really, I like the relationship building that I learned both in the ticket office and in the sponsorship world. And so that kind of plays into a couple different ones, whether it be development, more sponsorship, anything that really just gets me connecting fans, student athletes, businesses back to the university or the athletic program that we've got. That's where I have most fun, kind of tapping into the affinity of it, really. It just seems like a good fit when you find somebody that is tied to the passion of that university. So that's really, I don't know if there's a specific position for that, but anything that deals with people outside of it and bringing them into the sports.
Just on the college aspect, or are you open to like minor league or major league sports?
Doesn't have to be college at all. I mean, that's where most of my experience is, but really with that kind of mindset of relationship building, it can go into either any realm of it. So I'm open.
And then how about you open to relocation?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
That was one of the benefits that I had with Learfield. And then even exploded when we merged too. Went from about 115 schools or so to 200 plus. I mean, it was wild.
Yeah, it's great to follow their growth. I said if I wanted to go into the college space, I would definitely want to be part of their group. They've been great. So let's talk more about like what kind of stuff were you working on with Learfield then at University of North Texas?
So we're a smaller property. It's a 3-man team that handled the corporate sponsorships, and so my main role was activation, fulfillment, really account management. So for all of our partners, it was everything from the ground up. We were just being a small team. A lot of the proposal building was bounced off all three of us. Anything. So we were really just finding the right fit for partners, and then once we bring a partner on board, then it really goes into my hands, and we get them on just all fulfillment taken care of, and go from there. So a lot of face-to-face with our partners, which was great being in a smaller school too, because a lot of our guys are local. And so it really makes it enjoyable and easier to kind of get some stuff done when, your guys just down the street and, you need some artwork. But other than that, we kind of branched into another role later on in the off season, where mine was a bit of a hybrid role, focused on a lot of new business, generating some leads, and then just really trying to figure out what markets we need to go into, which ones we were kind of tapped out of. And so really focusing on kind of a hybrid fulfillment role and then a new business sales role. So that was kind of where I was prior to going into this season, and where I probably would have been still had I been there today.
How about what would you say is your biggest asset that you'll bring, or biggest skill that you'll bring to a new position?
Oof. Probably just ability to talk to people, figuring out their needs, figuring out their wants, being able to listen, and then being able to relate what we have to offer to what might fit them, or what might best be a good outcome for the relationship. So really just trying to how to figure out and navigate those waters is probably what I bring best to the table.
What area do you think you need to work on the most?
Well, it probably goes back to what we said originally, the organizational piece, the calmness of it. I work a lot better when it's 90-0 and a month out from football season and you're trying to kick off. But, how do we use our time in the off season is probably a big one. Just trying to get better, more efficient at using the downtime to either be more prepared or try to to grow the property even more.
How would you define success?
Success to me is I think the simplest terms would just be just a beneficial partnership, which is really what we strive to do at North Texas. Was, we have a long-term relationship with somebody, and we know that what we are offering and what we're providing works for them, and what they're providing us, granted for Learfield terms and for the athletic department, it was usually financial, but it's beneficial for us. So looking back at a partnership and trying to realize, that this works and both parties are benefiting, that's success to me.
How about a fun fact about you?
Fun fact. Actually got into culinary school out of high school.
Nice.
I thought I wanted to go into restaurants and be a chef. And still in the back of my mind, that world is even more brutal than sports though. So
yeah,
I took one evil for the other, but it's still in the back of my mind. That's always been kind of a passion for me, is cooking and the restaurant world.
You're a good cook.
Hey, I try.
Try. You have like a favorite dish you like to make, or a signature dish?
More of genre. It's either barbecue or I even go all Italian. A lot of pasta, a lot of seafood.
Nice. I could eat barbecue almost every day.
Wow. Texas, endless opportunities.
I'm in Virginia, so it's not quite as good. We have Mission Barbecue up here, which is like a chain.
Oh no, You come on down here, we'll get you some smoked cooked brisket.
Now St. Louis,
whatever.
St. Louis, when I lived there, they had some very good barbecue. So
it is pretty interesting, the different regions.
And it's different. It's all different styles.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Everyone. Carolina is Memphis. Then you get down to Texas and it's sweet.
Which do you prefer?
I'm born and raised in Texas.
Okay.
I like the Texas barbecue, the briskets, the sweet, thick barbecue sauce, all that, covered in butter, everything.
Tastes great. Maybe not the healthiest, but
no, there's no health part of it. No.
No, well, Austin, thank you for joining me, and hopefully we see you back out there working soon.
Yeah, I appreciate the time. Thanks for what you're doing for the industry. It's awesome. That's one of the things I love too about this sports world, is it's small, but everybody's willing to help out. That's awesome.